Hi guys, this is Hero. How's everyone doing today? Aaj bata kem cho? Aaj sab kaise ho? Today I'm doing good. Okay, I just got a haircut, as you can see maybe, and because I'm going on vacation tomorrow. But I'm like, man, I'm looking a little bit too good in this haircut, and this transit is coming next month, big transit. So let me get this video out here, so you guys can ponder for the next 3 or 4 weeks about this subject. Okay, and that subject is Saturn's transit into Capricorn. Okay, it's going from Aquarius to Capricorn backwards. Okay, so it goes backwards from Aquarius to Capricorn on July 13th of 2022. And then on like October 23, 2022, it starts going forward again. And on January 17th, 2023, first transit mentioning in 2023, it moves into Aquarius and it goes there. It never comes back to Capricorn in this zodiac cycle period. Okay, so as you guys know, I usually cover the more general but usually important aspects of this transit more at the beginning, and then throughout the video I dive into more specific detailed components. And those of you who are more advanced and interested can stick around for that. Those of you who are not can stop watching as they please. Okay, so as usual. So what do we know about this? So Saturn in Capricorn, right? It throws an aspect on two planets the whole time. Okay, that's going to be Jupiter in Pisces and Ketu in Libra. Okay, notice both of them are very, very, very spiritual planets, which I'm going to get to in a second. Okay, but first of all, if you watch my Saturn in Aquarius video, and we know one thing, right? That okay, Saturn was in Capricorn for a long time, because we have to look at the story, right? Saturn was in Capricorn for a long time. You were probably getting all disciplined and stuff like that. Saturn went into Capricorn right before COVID started. Okay, so your whole lifestyle was interrupted. Okay, that's what Saturn and Capricorn represents. Okay, Capricorn represents, your discipline. Then when I went into Aquarius, just for a little bit, there could have been some hint or feeling of stuff you have to do or stuff you have to get done, things like this. Okay, now it's moving back to Capricorn, so it's like hopefully after you've developed some intuition or awareness of some greater, bigger things that you have to do. Okay, not necessarily from a financial or material perspective, but just from spiritual things you have to do. And I'll give a personal example in 1 second. Okay, but as it moves back, after it moves back into Capricorn, the Saturn energies are like, you know what? We were in Aquarius for a little bit, and we realized that there's some things that we need to accomplish a little bit more personally within ourselves before we can accomplish whatever we need to on the outside. Okay, because our outside is just a reflection and manifestation of what's going on the inside. Okay, that's why Saturn, it owns those two houses or two signs back to back right at the end. Okay, you can say, because Capricorn is like doing what you need to on the inside, and then Aquarius is doing what you need to on the outside. But in order to do what you need to do on the outside, you got to fix everything on the inside first. So that's kind of what this transit overall as a whole represents. Okay, you kind of got a taste of whatever you need to do on the outside, and then now Saturn's going back into Capricorn. You're fixing whatever you need to on the inside. Okay, whatever kind of got left behind or overlooked when Saturn was in Capricorn originally, and then it will go back into Aquarius, and then you can hopefully accomplish all the big grand things that you need to while Saturn's in Aquarius. Okay, and Saturn never leaves. Even when it goes back into Capricorn, it never leaves Dhanishta Nakshatra. Okay, so that kind of gives you a little bit of a flavor and a hint that it's not really going too far. Okay, it's kind of just cleaning the things up that it needs to internally. Okay, that base should have already been established when Saturn went into Capricorn originally. Okay, this is why I kind of emphasize some of these transit videos, because some of these energies only come once. Okay, so you want to utilize them as much and efficiently as possible, because we don't know how long we have in this birth. Okay, we want to utilize our human experience, this specific human experience, as much as possible from a spiritual level. Okay, so I talked enough about what it represents when Saturn is going back into Capricorn. Now some other details. I mentioned how the personal example I'll give real quick is that okay, so for example, when Saturn went into Aquarius, I was at temple one day, and it was just me and this one other lady there. Okay, she's not Indian. And she's like into all this Indian Hinduism stuff a lot more than most Indians are. Okay, and she asked my Guruji to teach her how to do a puja. Okay, Now me, I'm more interested in my mantras and stuff like that, right? Like I didn't really have too much of a focus on conducting a puja, right? But she asked him, and this day it was just me and her there. Usually there's some other people, but this specific day it was just me and her there. So right after the ceremony for a few hours, and then we had a quick lunch. He was doing it for her, and then my other guru, she came to me and she said, "Hey, he's teaching her this. Do you want to sit and learn this? I think it'll be useful for you." So I said, "Okay, fine." So basically, long story short, at the end of this, I learned how to do a puja, right? But that's something typical of what kind of happened at a general sense of what Saturn is in Aquarius, right? As just for a little bit, right? It was just like, it was giving me a little taste of what I had to do, right? So that taste was like, man, there's some stuff that, I have to do like on a bigger level, such as, maybe like doing a puja, okay? Like something, like learning how to conduct a puja, okay? There's not too many people that know how to do a puja, especially here in the United States, and especially my generation, okay? There's like probably zero. I might be like the world's first person that they see in the United States under 25 to learn how to do a puja, okay? But I learned how to do a puja. So, but there's some inner stuff that I have to clean up in order to conduct a puja in the best manner, okay? And that's kind of what I feel like Saturn going into Capricorn is going to do, okay? For example, obviously I'm under 25 and I live in, South Florida, close to Miami, okay? So I obviously have some ego, okay? But I would be a little bit, it would be a little bit better for me to conduct a puja. Let's just say in the long, grand scheme of things, I'm going to someone's house and conducting a puja. How good is it going to be if I have, ego going there, okay? Obviously, everyone has a little bit, but I kind of feel that that's something I need to clean up, okay? Second thing is, I feel like I need to fast a little bit more than usual, okay? I like going to the gym and stuff like that, but I feel like the fasting needs to take a priority. Why? When you fast, you clean out a lot of the energies within inside you, okay? If, let's just say I am doing a puja for someone or something in the long run, I really don't want all this energy sitting inside me, and eating more than I need to, or fasting less than I should, just for the hopes of, having bigger muscles and stuff like this, okay? So this is kind of like some examples of what I've realized, okay? That, I need to clean up some stuff in order to accomplish the mission of Saturn overall, when it was, that I felt that, will be useful when Saturn goes into Aquarius, okay? Saturn went into Aquarius, got a little taste of what I was supposed to do. When Saturn goes into Capricorn, clean up a lot of this stuff in order to accomplish this mission. And then when Saturn goes into Aquarius, for a lot longer time, hopefully that mission gets accomplished, okay? Now, back to the transit. So we know that Saturn aspects Pisces, which Jupiter's in, and Libra, which Ketu's in, okay? So now, both these are very spiritual planets, right? And Jupiter is in its own sign of Pisces, and Ketu happens to aspect Aquarius, which is Saturn's other sign, okay? So what does this all represent? Because this is probably one of the more important pieces that add to this transit, okay? The fact that Saturn aspects both of these two, Jupiter and Ketu, but both of them don't aspect Saturn, means that Saturn's kind of saying, okay, my agenda is a little bit more strong than your spiritual fulfillment, I guess you can say. Okay, like not spiritual fulfillment, but like, all this detachment and religious learning, all this kind of stuff. Yeah, that's great, but if you need to put it on hold so that I Saturn can do whatever I have to do, from an internal standpoint. Okay. That's kind of what the gist is. But Jupiter is in its own sign, which is not a joke. And Ketu aspects Aquarius, okay? So what this means is that, yeah, Saturn's saying that, okay, your spiritual goals, I guess you can say, like conventional spiritual goals are kind of put on a hold. But Ketu's still involved, so there's going to be some karmic aspect involved in whatever the mission of Saturn is. And Jupiter's in Pisces, so even as you accomplish Saturn's agenda of inner discipline and all this kind of stuff, Jupiter will still, through that, learn how to become a little bit more detached and that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's kind of what those two represent. a little bit, some other components. We know that Jupiter in Pisces aspects Cancer, and Saturn in Capricorn also aspect Cancer, okay? And at the beginning of this transit, like I want to say the first like month or two or something like that, especially when Mars is in Aries, because Mars, when it's in Aries, aspects Cancer as well. At the beginning of this transit, when Mars is still in Aries, aspecting Cancer, and these three planets, Sun, Mercury, and Venus, all move through Cancer. As you can see, the Cancer energies are going to be very, very, very strong, right? Which tells us one thing. Which planet owns Cancer? That is the moon, right? So the moon is undergoing a lot. Okay, it's getting Jupiter's aspect, it's undergoing Saturn's aspect. At the beginning, it's undergoing Mars's aspect, and at the beginning, it's also going through, you know, all these energies are kind of going through Cancer. Okay, so what this means is that your moon is kind of, okay, let's talk about the first two things first, the Jupiter and the Saturn aspecting both of them. Okay, this basically means that the moon is under some frustration because Saturn is kind of doing what it wants, getting its way. But there's a reason why Saturn owns the house across from Moon. But because Jupiter aspects it as well, and that's Jupiter's exaltation sign, and Jupiter's in its own sign as well. The moon is kind of a little bit more aware that, yeah, you know what, Saturn's kind of bothering me, but it's okay, right? I know that there's some higher reason here that the mind is not able to understand, okay? And hopefully we realize that we are not the mind, okay? But this could be a little intense when Mars is in Aries, right? Because Mars shows a fourth aspect on Cancer. So, and as all those planets kind of cycle through Cancer, especially the Sun, which kind of represents the ego. So there could be some frustration, but I would hope at the end of that beginning period when Mars is in Aries and Sun cycles through Cancer, that we understand that, you know, we are not the mind, right? That's one of the main goals of, you know, this birth, hopefully from a spiritual level, that we are not the mind, and that, you know, we understand that we're not the mind. So when Mars moves out of Aries, so that aspect on Cancer goes away and all the planets finish cycling through Cancer, we're able to more groundedly and holistically like accomplish, that's what I meant to say, accomplish Saturn's agenda here when it goes back into Capricorn, okay? This is a very important transit, so hopefully you guys utilize as well. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, you can let me know. And until next time, talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching.